Okay, hello everyone. Let's continue today's event about heavy music, and now let's focus on playing live. We have two guests here, Jan Till and Máté Horváth. So please tell me just a few important things about what these nice people need to know about you guys. Jan?
Yeah, all right. Hello everyone, my name is Jan. I'm from Wacken Open Air, Germany, working there since almost 12 years now as a head of booking. I started to work in the music industry like 20 years ago, plus minus. I started to promote shows in 2002, and then became a kind of professional in 2005. The funny thing is being here with Máté, we were just talking about it. I was tour managing a band in 2009, and he was promoting the show here in Budapest. So it's very cool we always see each other like 3 times a year, but it's very good to be here together in Budapest on the same panel.
Yeah, that was funny. Hey everyone, my name is Máté Horváth, and I'm a promoter at Live Nation Central and Eastern Europe. And I'm working at the company for more than 3 years now. And I'm in music industry since 2002, I think, 2002 or 3, depends what we consider being in the music industry. And I was independent promoter for 15 years before I joined Live Nation. And yeah, we just checked the flyer of that show. It was 2009 in September when we first met in the old Dürerker. It's quite a while ago.
He still looks the same. He didn't age at all.
He as well.
The tap water in Hungary. Okay, so how did your life change for both of you when you became professional in the live music? What was the key changing point?
Less sleep, too much alcohol, and no. For me, it's like a dream came true. I was always like being into music, being a big fan of music. Always went to festivals, always went to shows. And in Germany, we have the saying, mein Hobby zum Beruf gemacht. So I turned my hobby into my job. And here I am, like 20 years later, having a family at home, can make a living with what I love. So it's like, for me, the best thing ever, even though it's definitely not a 9-to-5 job. It's like more a 24/7 job. It is what it is, and sometimes it's like super stressful. But when you do what you love, it's good.
Yeah, Jan just said everything. I studied as a historian. I have a degree in history. I never practiced it, so I just started to work as a stagehand and box office guy next to the university to just make some money, and slowly it evolved into becoming like crew chief and stage manager and whatever, and then starting to rep shows. Actually, to be correct, the show with Keith Caputo, I was just promoter rep, not the actual promoter. So, in Hungary, being a historian is not a great business, except if you have the right ideas what you want to say, and I might be not that one. So a dream comes true. Even I never played music, and I will never do that. I'm pretty sure about this thing. But I started to listen to heavy music when I was 9 years old. I started with Iron Maiden and then AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and on. Motorhead. So it just becomes a dream come true. And the thing what changes you, and when I say professional, I think after the 3rd show I was working as a stagehand, actually it ruined my fanboy-ness, or how to say that properly, because I remember it was June or something when I played, when I was working on this show. It was Anthrax and Testament and something. Koshi sits just in the back, who was the promoter of that show. And I was stagehand there. And I remember the next show I went, 2 months later, I was feeling like looking at things which I was never looking at before, like, how the stage is and everything else. So it's kind of sad. I'm totally happy in my life, but it's sad how this thing is taking out this innocent concert goer feeling from you. And I don't mind. I'm just saying that this is something really changed in me, and I think it's never really coming back, except some very few shows I've been and I was like able to, get into it really, like Bruce Springsteen or something like that. But it's very rare.
First show ever, which you promoted.
Which promote?
Yeah.
I'm always thinking, but it's very difficult. But it was something with this group of my friends called For the Kids, and it was maybe Dead by Stereo or Bane. I'm actually not sure, because I was working on shows as promoter rep, and then we did shows, and everything is just a big mess in my head. But I can't recall. But these were small hardcore shows, and mostly venues like Kupplung and Dürerker, small room places which don't exist anymore.
For you, Jan?
I was a German singer-songwriter. I promoted in 2000. I did this show in a small bar in Cologne, Germany, and it was all like I was learning by doing, without having any clue about it. I was just a fan and wanted to do the show, and never paid taxes for that or things like that because I didn't know about it. So I'm like, now it's so long ago that I don't need to pay it now. But plus we are talking about, I don't know, 30 tickets or so. So it's like not a lot of money, but it was just like everything was learning by doing.
It's still history. Now, as you are promoting a lot of shows in your market, you are somehow a big chance for the local artists, and they wanna play at your shows. They want your time. They want your attention. How is the way they can show their talent to you? Are you going to shows, local shows, or just listening to submissions, or none of them? How do you recognize local artists?
I'm not promoting shows anymore. I used to.
Yeah, they did a lot
to be a German tour promoter as well. We're stepping down actually right now a little bit, or we started to step down last year. I still go to a lot of shows, and I still love to see new talent on stage. And it's when we worked for international acts, and they did not bring support act on tour, so it always was our job to get someone to open the show, and we always talk usually to the venues if they can recommend someone of the area, and we have seen like lots of great bands and lots of not so great bands as well, but it's always like seeing new talent on stage, or like younger bands on stage, or newer bands on stage. It's always good fun and super important for us.
When I was still working as in-house promoter in Dürerker, for example, I saw much more new bands than I see nowadays. To be fairly honest, I'm not going out for a lot of shows because I'm having like almost 80 a year, which I have to cover. And these are some of them are like 100 capacity, some of them are 15,000 capacity. But it takes out quite of the interest from you, to be honest. But I'm listening to fresh music at home mostly, and if there are tours, and in the rock scene it's much more scarce nowadays when the foreign artist is asking you for local support band. So what I see is the metal genre and the metal industry, if we can use this word, is much more upfront in these things. And when a foreign touring band is here, they usually, at the confirmation, there is already like a support and an opener. And obviously a lot of you are emailing us or me or getting in touch somehow that can we be the support on this show or that show. And 90% of the cases we have to say no, because there is just no such thing as I just put on a band without the approval of the artist. And obviously they don't approve anything because they have these 3 bands on the bill. It's contracted. That's how it has to go. But in this way, I get in touch with most of the fresh music from you and other Hungarian bands. And honestly, when there is a question that now we need a support for this show because we don't have one, which is usually coming in super late, then we start to look around. And we have in our office, there are a bunch of people. We are 17 in the office, and we have this group chat to see what other people think would be the best match for this band. I ask a lot Dávid Bali, who is helping me a lot. So if you want to get on one of our shows, just talk to him. No, there is no corruption in this at all. But I'm trying to talk to people who I feel more into this to make the best decision. So I'm not just trying to call my friends. I mean, sometimes I ask Christian Diamant, who we know well. So if it's something very into the death or slam or other more extreme metal genres, I ask my friends who are into that, because I'm not. Because to be honest, when I listened to metal music most of my life, or rock music, but I didn't listen a lot to death metal, for example, or black. So then I ask somebody who is really in line with this genre. And then obviously, when we have your submissions, and then we have to present it to the management, and they will make a decision who is the right band. And it's a kind of a nerve churning thing to find the right. And we are trying to give opportunity, but it's a very narrow ledge we can walk on, because just as I said, most bands already have their support. But don't give up. So don't give up. Just send us emails and tell us that you want to play it here and there, and maybe you won't play on that show, but a similar band 2 years later. And I know it's 2 years, but it's more than nothing.
Yeah. Jan, all of the metal musicians want to play at your festival. So give some insight about how the booking process is at your festival. Does a band have a chance without a booking agent? How are the quotas for this? So just tell me a bit more insight about what's not can be found online.
Yeah, well, that's actually a pretty good question. Of course, you can play our festival without having an agent, and we usually have every year, I don't know, 20 plus bands who are playing the festivals. Were playing the festival without having an agent. It's mostly my colleague Sasha. He's he's part of the black metal scene, and he's into death and extreme metal, and he's into all the underground bands, and they don't usually, especially the underground artists, they don't have agents, so he's booking directly with them. But the thing is, of course, it's way more easier if you're having an agent. Because, for example, we get I would say hundreds of emails from bands, really hundreds of emails
a day.
But no, but per month, or it's just tons of emails, and we try to listen, we try to read them all, but it's really, really a lot. So it makes things way more easier if you're having an agent. For example, there are so many agents around. Same for you, Liz. So many agents we know since 20 years, and we have a very, very good relationship too. So if you're signed by an agent, we have a good relationship too. And he sends me an email Jan, I have a very, very brand new band. They're super small. I just need to have a very, very small slot on on the smallest stage, whatever. I definitely will give it a listen, because he's a trustful person I work with for years. Many of them are good friends nowadays, so it definitely makes it easier. But still, there's always the chance playing the festival without having an agent, of course. And what I have to say, even though it's a big festival and we have 250 slots roundabout, it's still not enough. So it's I could easily fill 500 slots a year.
Yeah,
So-
I feel the same. We have a small festival in Hungary, and it's always the hardest part is to say no to really cool bands.
I agree,
always, yeah.
and actually, this morning I had a call with a long Teams meeting with Sasha. I was sitting in the hotel in the office because we have exactly reached the point now where we are making the decisions, especially on the smaller stages, like yes or no, and we're starting to send out the emails tonight, like sorry, and they're so like and not only like younger bands, I'm talking about like really, really good bands as well, and I really would like to have them back again or at the festival for the very first time. But we are almost done. It's crazy.
And are you also monitoring how much difference Rock and Show means a band in the German market afterwards?
Oh, sorry.
Are you monitoring how much effect does the Rock and Show have on a specific band?
Yeah.
Like the afterlife of the show. Are you monitoring this?
I mean, I'm not monitoring this, but you can see it sometimes. Especially we have a management company as well, and so we put our artists on, for example, and we always can see like Spotify numbers are going up or Instagram numbers are going up, things like that, or ticket sales are growing up, especially ticket sales. Like last year, like this year, we had an act on, and we put the tour on sale the day after the act played at Wacken, and we had a really, really strong start of ticket sales. So it definitely has a good effect, but it's definitely not a guarantee you will make it. So it's like, and some people think it is not. So it can be a chance, but it's only a chance.
Did you guys ever receive threats about booking a band or not booking them? From fans or from the bands themselves?
No, I mean sometimes we receive a lot of ugly emails and comments when a tour is being announced and Hungary is not included. That why we exist if this band is not coming to Hungary, and why the stadium exists if this band is not coming to Hungary. But I mean, it's not a threat. It's just people are really talking like shit. But I didn't get to a point where somebody was threatening me to book a band or to not to book a band.
No, same. I mean, as a booker of a festival, you only can lose. Because people never sometimes you have like in like Facebook or social media comments like sometimes it's really good and. So this isn't that, it's really good, and but usually everyone is just complaining like it's the worst lineup ever. Boom! Look at this festival, that festival. Yeah, it's like I really have to say, like 10 years ago, I really was like okay, so I had to deal with it. Nowadays, I know how social media works, and people are there to complain about things. But I had a tough time about it. I mean, not like really tough, but definitely touched me.
Yeah, it's not a festival thing, but my favorite phrase, which I got most times, is that who was that asshole who put this show on a Tuesday? So that was always in Hungary. It's like, ki szervezte kedre ezt a bulit? This was the comment since 2000 whatever on whatever social media, and that's like, well, yeah, I was. The band and myself, we literally wanted to ruin everybody's time, and there is no tour; it's just a show on Tuesday. Thank you. But yeah, no threats, but fans or people. I'm not sure if they are fans, but people react really harsh on a lot of things, like not getting a ticket because the show is sold out. I think that's a much serious anger coming out of people not being able to buy a ticket for something than if it's a Tuesday or Wednesday thing.
Yeah. So okay, Jan, you stopped doing club shows, but you did it for a long time. Mate, you're also still doing this. When there is a chance to have a local act, how many bands do you pitch for the booking agent?
It always depends on, like usually, you know, if we have slot for one local act, I actually send to the agent just one, maybe two choices, because if they don't like it, we have to think about it again. But usually we don't send a big list because that will take forever.
Yeah. 2 or 3 bands usually. And I'm trying to just, first I'm talking to each band if they're available at all, if they don't have another show. So I'm trying to narrow it down because that's the most annoying when you send out bands and they come back to you and, okay, we'll choose this one. And, they can't do it because next day they're playing, you know, the same. I mean, we are talking about, in our case, Hungary, which is basically Budapest. So, you know, like most bands who are considered as a support, if they have a show in Budapest anytime in the next 4 months, then they can't do it. Except, I mean, yesterday we had a show at 8:38 and it was sold out already. So we were able to put on a band which will play a show later in November. But, you know, like actually it was good for that show's promoter because it gave them exposure with a show where there were no tickets on sale anyway. But usually 2 or 3 bands maximum. And I'm trying to send at least 2. So obviously there are cases where you can only find one band and then, you know, you say to the agent that, well, you know, this is the one. And if you hate it, just let us know and then we'll try somebody else. But
yeah, but you can also talk to the agent or the band management about what kind of music do they want to support. That's the other way. Like some bands are okay with having their copycats as opener, or
exactly, that's a good thing.
Yeah. It's just nowadays, and it's not in metal, but in a lot of genres now, it's getting really difficult that they are coming up that the band has to have, I don't know, half of it has to be female. They can't have a drum. That's my favorite. There is a rock show and we need a support, but please be it like a solo or duo and no drum. And
but still heavy.
Yeah, but we need heavy. And I'm like, oh, okay. And well, yeah. And also this thing like having females in the band, which is, I mean, I understand this whole key change program, which is on for years now. But sometimes, you know, it's a small market. We don't have one, or we have one, but they are not available. So we have another band, but they are just blokes, you know, and then it makes it more difficult.
Yeah. You with Wacken, you have the local talent shows, and that's an amazing thing.
You also mean metal battle.
Metal battle. Yeah. We also have in Hungary and many. How many countries do you have it?
I did an interview at Wacken this year, and I told them that we're doing it in 60 countries, and I learned right after that from my colleagues, it's more than 100 countries now. Oh, yeah, it is. So, yeah, it's like I really have to say, like 30 bands of the metal battle countries are playing at Wacken every year, and the countries are always changing. But that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, because, you know, like they're from countries I haven't heard the name of before. There is like where there's no real metal scene at all. Metal bands are playing at Wacken. This is so cool, and it's a great chance for them as well. So, yeah. I mean, for example, Beast in Black, they were a metal band back then. So there are some who really made it, which is very cool.
And are you also sending out some kind of criteria for the local jury, or just for the local jury and the local organizers?
Yeah, we
criteria from Wacken side. So what do you expect from them? What kind of bands do you expect? What not? Or what are the rules for this?
They're doing, like, every country is doing their own metal battle competition, and they're sending the one winner to Wacken. And it can be totally different. There's like any kind of subgenre, no matter what gender, color, whatsoever. It can be anything.
So you never had to reject one winner or something? No.
And it's like super, super interesting to see that. I've seen so many good bands there. And that's like what I think is so important. Like, I mean, just for every like younger band or a newer band here as well, when you just what Gunnnar just said in the panel before, like you need to have this wow effect, like be a little bit outstanding. Because like I remember that probably like 7-8 years ago, I was watching like a lot of metal battle bands, and they were all like really, really good. And but I would say like maybe 6 bands in a row, they all look the same. Like, having camouflage, short, a Creator or Testament shirt. And I mean, there's nothing wrong about it, not at all, because, it's part of the scene. But, if you have like band number 6 looking the same, playing really, really good thrash metal, in the end, it's like one big blur. And then there was the next band. There were like guys in black suits. I was like, who's that? It was like cool haircuts. And I was like, okay, that's different. So I definitely want to watch this band. They were called Özen from Iceland as well. And they were like absolutely amazing. And they were like special. They were outstanding.
Yeah, it's a good band.
But again, there's nothing wrong about wearing a Creator or Testament shirt and a camouflage shorts. Of course not.
And what's your favorite band so far from the battle? Or from let's say this year? Which
a band?
Any favorite band for you? Yeah.
Who played just the general?
Which came from the metal battle?
Expello, the band who won from Switzerland. They were really, really cool. Like more metalcore-ish, but they were really cool. They're playing next year again, so we started to repeat the winner a year later. They can have another slot at the festival.
Okay, that was my next question. That if you get into the final and play Wacken, what are your chances to get booked again?
Yeah, you play the year after again, and that was pretty funny when I was talking to my colleague Sasha, who did Metal Battle for quite a while, and I was talking to him about the idea. I was like, you know what? Maybe we can just book the band again, and we paid like travel costs and anything like that. And the first year we started, the band from China won, so we had the biggest travel costs you can imagine. But I mean, of course, we stick to our word. But it was like, what about the band from Netherlands or Denmark? No, it was China. What we also do is, like, for example, Varang North, they won Metal Battle, I think, maybe 2 years ago, and we booked them for our Full Metal Cruise we just finished yesterday. We booked them for a Full Metal Holiday last year. So we try to keep in touch with them. And you don't have to necessarily win Metal Battle. For example, we booked Özen again because I was so blown away by the show.
Okay, I think both of you are going to showcase festivals still.
Yes.
What can you advise for bands who get in those showcases? How to get the attraction of a festival organizer or for a major concert organizer?
I would say, and I've been to a lot of these, and I actually was working for 7 years for a Dutch management company, like music management company, which was managing bands mostly for abroad, so like exportable bands. And first of all, I would say when you first feel that you should go to a showcase festival, just don't, because there are a lot. Now it's less, so I think there was this peak of showcases before COVID, and many of these are over now, and I think it's still too many. But when you go to a showcase festival, you have to be ready, because as just in the previous panel it was discussed that you have that 25 minutes in likely the same venue as we are here now. So if you go to the UK for a showcase festival, the technical background will be really underwhelming. And then you have your 25 minutes, and if your team is not preparing it and you are not inviting enough people, you are not getting enough people there, likely nobody will be there. Or the people who will be there, only the ones who will not be able to get into the other venues, because these are really small. So you end up spending a lot of money, because we are talking about most showcases give you, I don't know, maybe 200 euros, or they don't give you any money but accommodation. So you spend 1,000 or more euros at least to get there, and that was it. And most of these events will never invite you back because they have this policy of not repeating bands, which is actually, I think, pretty okay in such a thing. And then you lost it. And you spend a lot of money, and mentally and the band dynamic will be really bad because everybody will start to think that who's to blame that it was not working out. And the only thing you can blame is yourself, like generally the band, who made the decision to go there. When you go to a showcase, it's not the moment when you show how good could you be one day. You have to already show that this is what we can do if you book us tomorrow. And that has to be good because there is a huge competition most of the European market. So you have to be really, really ready. Your music has to be ready. You have to have somebody who is looking after you. So when you're loading out, because you have like 10 minutes to get off the stage and the backstage, you have to have somebody on the floor talking to the promoters or labels or whatever your aim is. So you have to have a plan. You have to know what you want to reach. And normally you should go to a showcase festival which is focusing on that territory where your music is sellable. So obviously you see your streaming data and then you see that people interested in your music in Poland, then try to go to Poland or anywhere close by and don't go to Eurosonic. It won't make any sense. And now we are talking about metal, so it's making it even narrow because there are not a lot of metal showcase festivals, and most of the famous showcase festivals like Great Escape or similars, it's not a metal event. So metal promoters, metal festivals are working on a very different level. It's more like, like a rumor, people talking with each other in the scene, and even competing promoters are talking with each other about an artist which should be booked or not. So just first I would say just be very careful because it's very expensive and it gives you a lot of, bad nights after it. Like you will have this feeling of you failed, which I mean you did, but it's not your. You didn't mess it up on stage. There was just nobody to look at your show, and that's a failure in this way.
I couldn't agree more. I have seen the most bizarre shows at showcase festivals, and because I mean, when you're all musicians, I'm not. I only can imagine how stupid it must feel being on stage. I mean, there's some showcase festivals where like regular people are in as well, so that makes it way more better because when you're lucky, there are people in the room who want to see you. But there are so many showcase festivals where only industry people are in the room when they are in the room, and they're not out for dinner or at the bar. So, and when you're on stage and you want to show your very, very best, and you have like 50 industry people standing in the back of the bar like this. It's like, I mean, you cannot fake it, like the fun on stage. It's like, yeah. But I have to say, I like, for example, it's some years ago at ILMC London, there was a Dutch showcase as well, and the band, I don't want to say the name, they hated it so much. And after 2 songs, the singer, she said like, oh wow, this is the worst show ever, playing for you motherfuckers here. and that was when she got my attention. And I was like, that's awesome. So the next year they played Wacken right away. I was like, this is exactly what we are looking for. That was so good. I mean, you could see like the organizers, they were like, oh no, what is the band doing? But I love that. Or same with another showcase festival in London as well. There was this punk band called Shame. And you could see the guys went on stage, they were like, oh no, what are we doing here? Like only industry people. And the singer, I mean, he's trouble. Oh, and he just took some big beer cans and shaking it. And he was running around, like, and all the industry people, like, including me, like, I mean, because we definitely don't want to get wet. So, like, woo. And it was so much fun. I love things like that. So yeah, it's like, I mean, sometimes it's pretty cool, but usually I totally agree with what you just said. So I actually booked one band last year to Wacken and this year on the Full Metal Cruise we just did, and I saw them at a showcase festival in London as well. And I had a drink with them on the cruise, and I told them that the first time I ever saw you was at IFF, and they were like, "Oh, really? So this is why we're here and why we did Wacken?" I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Okay, there's like something good happened finally," because same thing, just playing in front of industry people. Yeah. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, that's. I wanted to just to put it context what I said. That doesn't mean it doesn't make sense to go to showcases, but you have to be ready. So we are just booking. There is an artist, a Brazilian punk rock artist called Karen Dio, and we just booked her to a festival in Bulgaria. We are working on a show in Hungary, and I saw her on showcase just, when was that? I think it was Great Escape. So it was this May, I think, and so it's working. I booked a lot of bands because I saw them on showcases, or somebody told me to look at them after the show at the showcase. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that you have to be prepared, and that's much more than you can ever imagine. So, the fact that we went to that venue where she was playing, it's coming from the reason that she's already having an agency. There is a label in place, and she was already supporting Limp Bizkit in Latin America. Just an example. So just be aware that many of the organizers of these events has to fill up slots. So it's not as Wacken. Wacken is a place where everybody wants to play. And in these events, there are many cases when, they need to have 100 bands to call it a showcase. And then, you will have this invitation. And that's usually a bit fishy.
I mean, it's the same. I mean, there are pros and cons about it, but as I said, I couldn't agree more. You have to be ready for it to play showcase festivals. But it's the same discussion as, should you do it, should you not do it? It's the same with pay to play, going on tours, things like that. It's like there are so many pros and cons about it. It's like
that was my next question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. So let's talk about pay to play.
We usually don't know. I mean, as a promoter, I'm saying, we are not aware if a band has played to play or not pay to play, because obviously from a promoter point of view, you have 3 bands on the bill or 4, and everybody has a fee usually. So you see that, okay, this band came for 100 euros, which is obviously a huge loss, but you don't know if in the background the label or management agreed to, let's say, they are paying for the nightliner for a week, for the headliner actually, and then they are paying their own cost. But, I mean, we were just, we were making a promo for architects for the January show, and my colleague at marketing, she just asked me that when was the first time I was working with the band and how many shows we did. And I looked back in my folders, which
I'm still impressed about that.
And in 2008, they were playing at the 838 ship on this Never Say Die tour, and there were 8 bands, which is totally crazy. It doesn't make any sense. But they were the 4th. So it means there were 4 bands after them. And I mean, we don't know if they paid or not, but they got somewhere. But most of the bands from that bill didn't really get anywhere, or they were already somewhere and they actually lost from their position. But when you decide, you make a decision like this, that you want to pay, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 euros to be on a tour, you should be, 100% sure that this band makes sense. Let's look at what shows will we play, where those shows are happening. And I'm trying to tell every agent, and now it seems it's changing, but there was this 10 or 15 years of period when everybody was doing these 5-band tours.
Yeah.
And I was
4 of them were paying for.
Yeah. And I was promoting many of those, and I can tell you that the catering cost literally ate up all the marketing costs, and then you are playing in the first slot from 6:10 to 6:30. You have 20 minutes when people still in their office or just on the bus to the venue. Didn't make any sense. And then you might sell, you might sell 5 T-shirts, and it's gone. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
But you have the feeling as well that it's going.
I think it's going down. The other reason is that some of the agencies who are really doing these we are not working with them because they have historical partners in Hungary. But it just doesn't make any sense. Like, in my opinion, more than 3 bands is only reasonable when it's like crust punk or grindcore or something, because in every other way 3 bands is tops. That's fine, because we are talking about extreme music. We love extreme music, but your ears got tired. So, like listening for more than 120 or 200 minutes of this music, nobody will do that. It's just, sometimes I feel it's basically a rip-off, and it's a spiral when small bands, labels paying into tours where their own other band is taking away the money. So it's just weird.
Yeah. I actually liked what you just said. If you do things like that, you have to be 100% sure. I mean, there are definitely points where a buy on tour can be very, very helpful, but I only would do it if you really have the money. If you really have the money, and not like taking any credit and like. So this is point 1. Point 2. You really, and that's what you just said, you really have to be 100% sure that you want to start a career and you want to build a career, because there's nothing worse in doing a tour like that, paying a lot of money for that, and then one of the band members, like a week after the tour, he says, goodbye, I've just decided to stay at home forever, whatever. Because, for example, we had a band we were working with, and they did not do pay to play, but we put them on so many tours we had, and we put them on a festival. I gave them good slots at Varga, and we did whatever we could, and we were finally getting somewhere, and then the singer decided, I don't think I want to do it anymore. It's like too stressful. Okay, thank you. It's just like putting 2 years work into the band. I mean, especially for the other guys in the band, it was just super unfair.
Yeah, you need to talk a lot about within the band about if the goals are similar or
and I mean, if you want to do it, like it's a long way to the top when you want to rock and roll. I mean, that's as simple as it is. Like when I started to work with bands in like not as a professional in 2002, I was tour managing like younger singer-songwriters, younger punk bands as well, or hardcore bands from Germany. And it's just like not fun. I mean, like, or the tour we did together in 2009, like you did the show here. I mean, we were like, I think 6 guys on the road for 6 with a van, with a red Mercedes van. I think the tour was like 7 weeks. We usually shared like 2 hotel rooms a night, so just sneaking in the hotel, like, and it's not much fun sharing a bed with 3 other guys every night. It's like,
and that's for Keith, right?
Oh yeah, it's like I mean, sometimes, of course, some nights like we had like 4 rooms or whatever, but it's just
I hope we gave you proper accommodation. I hope so. I can't remember, but
you probably did. Oh.
I will check back my folder.
No, I don't know if the hotel was included in the deal, but no, I just maybe it was a tour before. I don't know, but I would just want to make sure. It's like it's super hard. Like you really have to be 100% sure you want to do it. Like or like staying on a nightliner bus with 18 other guys for 4, 5, 6 weeks. So I did it lots of times. It's like it can be big fun, but it's like. It's I mean, you only have your little bunk with your curtain, and that's it. And like having 18 other guys on the bus, it's always better when there's at least one female on the bus as well. I think everyone behaves directly at least a little bit better. Oh.
Thank you so much. Let's jump to the questions. Okay.
Hey guys, see ya. Thank you very much for your very honest and awesome conversation. I represent Red Swamp here in Hungary, and I just want to reiterate that we had a chance to worked together with Live Nation earlier this year, playing in front of Planet of Zeus. So thank you for that. If you had any chance, or David maybe. And also, we had a chance earlier in 2022 to play Wacken due to Wacken Metal Battle Hungary. Yeah, so there is another colleague here who also had the chance.
Yeah,
to
I
do that
already
in
saw the
24.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's all of our dreams basically to maybe have a chance to play the festival again.
Yeah.
I realize that it's not like the next step to go back in 23 after you haven't placed maybe in the top 5 or whatever. Would it make sense to maybe do a tour and concentrate on smaller festivals, maybe in Austria or maybe in Germany? Do you keep your eye on that, or do you have maybe a recommendation, or do you know if or make sense of the bills or anything like that?
I mean, of course, we always have an eye on on all the other festivals in Germany, and not only like Rock am Ring, Rock am Park. We always keep an eye on, especially like the very small festivals as well. So if you're lucky and you get slots there and chances there to play, of course, do it. But it's probably not easy. So,
Sure.
But yeah, I definitely would recommend that.
And maybe a small follow-up, networking-wise, if anyone here maybe gets the chance to play the Wacken Metal Battle in Wacken, do you have a recommendation for those bands of how they should approach some of the guys who work there, or that's not too forward and not too in your face, but still makes a sense for the band networking-wise?
You mean
When you're already at the festival?
when you're already
Yes, you
at the
won
festival?
Hungary and you're there already.
Yeah.
What would be like? That was sort of my question when we got there. Is
Okay, we have to
what's not too forward when we're handing out CDs or trying to give everyone little
I mean, that was
packets
the metal.
trying to do our best.
And that's really good to hear. I mean, everything is about, and this, especially in this industry, and especially in the metal scene, everything is about networking. So it's a people's business. So. So we had this Metal Battle Lounge there, like where like, there are agents, there are label guys, people are hanging out. I think that's always a good opportunity. And just like, meeting Sasha, who's working with me, Zaman, like all the guys in our team. I think you did right, just like using the network.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Do we have a next question? If not, then thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And hope the guys will learn a lot from you. And enjoy the next break and see you then in the listening session and the speed meeting. So see you in 10 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.